Hey, storytelling Ron. I'm going to do some news here. Here we go. Let's just get to it. I know you've got things to do, and so do I. All right. Let me go back to this one. Okay. Arizona police arrest 158 people in human trafficking sting. So 158 people in Scottsdale, Arizona. Human trafficking. What is human trafficking? It is slavery. It's actually slavery. Forcing, and especially children. They go after weak children. And this is true in young adults. This is true for slavery in the past. And it's true for slavery today. And slavery human trafficking is exploding. Why? Because there's no churches. The only people in the past history of slavery that confronted slave trade were churches. The Catholic Church, the Protestant Church, Christian churches. Today, we're being called white devils, white supremacists, they were called white devils in the past, as you know, historically. They called them white devils in the past to make the black slaves so afraid of the British freedom fighters, fighters against slavery, that they were so afraid of them because they were white devils and were going to eat them. That's what the slavers told them, that they were so fearful to be liberated. They didn't want to be freed. Today, we're being called white, Christian. It's always Christians, right? We're always being attacked. It's the West, the white people. And the only reason... as you can see, I'm not even full white. And the only reason the white people have this superiority in I as a Christian is because they were Christian. It's because it was the only surviving Christian realm. The blacks got wiped out. The Christian blacks got wiped out by the Islam, and then the browns obviously got wiped out by Islam. In the Middle East, the Arabs, the Christians there. Look at the son of the Hamas leader who's in San Diego, I believe. His face is so, to me, wonderful and angelic. He converted to Christianity. He's Arab. He's brown. Whatever. He's a wonderful man. He's a Christian, and he's the son of Hamas leader. And then you look at the Hamas people, and they look like crazed, deranged, demonic people for what they do. And look at October 7th. Okay, so. Trafficking. This is going on like crazy. 200 sex trafficking victims arrested, over 125 perverts. But we were told that QAnon conspiracies don't exist. The left is belittling this, it's diminishing this, whereas the right is now being called conspiracy theorists. The movie, what movie I'm talking about, that just came out. I got it on DVD, Blu-ray over there. That was being ignored. It's not being presented in the media. I forgot the name. What's the movie called? You know what I'm talking about? Oh my God, let me pause and I'm going to pull that movie up. Yeah, the Sound of Freedom movie. Whew, man. Okay, so the Sound of Freedom, of course, and then the guy who the story's about, he's completely attacked in the media. The thing, he didn't do this, he didn't do that. This is like a real thing, like a real setting with what's really happening, and all they could do is talk about how the person wasn't real, or his secret operations were not real, but yet his whole entire life was doing that stuff. But anyway, I even had someone personally ask me that, like, is that guy was really real? I'm like, what? That's how permeating the media is, and this is like a Christian person too. They don't want to watch the film because they thought, oh, I was told this guy's lying and not a real story. It's like, wow. I had to correct him, but and the thing is, I'm not concerned about the person's real or not. The story is obviously real. The setting is real. This is really this is really happening, and this is along the border. And the Democrats are letting this happen. It's huge, and it's just incredible. I don't even know what to say. It's on Not to Be, by the way, if you want to look at it. All right. So, but it's happening because we don't have churches. The churches are weak. We aren't bringing in, you all need to strengthen the church. Whatever church it is, a Christian, biblical, a Bible church. I'm going to put my finger over here. Make sure it's not a progressive Christian. Oh my gosh, please. I'm going to have to say this. Oh my God, please, not a progressive church. All right. A Christian church who follows the Bible, reads the Bible. Jesus did teach hate, by the way. He did teach hate. That we would be hated. Oh yeah, we're going to be hated. So there's more news on that thing. And of course in Idaho, which is full of churches and is kind of is a Christian bastion right now, among some other red states, they passed a bill allowing the death penalty for child sex offenders, victims under 12. So they passed a bill. Now, the issue here is whether it's constitutional, because the Supreme Court said you can't do this. It's like, they want to pass a bill to execute child sex offenders who rape children 12 and under, or the age of 12 and under. They give them a death penalty, or the possibility of a death penalty. And so, of course, who's going to defend this or stop this? It's the ACLU, right? The ACLU of Idaho. They're Democrats. They're liberals. They're going to try to fight this. And of course, they're going to put millions into it. And of course, Idaho being not a very rich state, has to defend it with millions because of the left, because the Democrats are fighting this. They're going to fight this to keep sex offenders, child rapists alive. And when a child rapist is alive, here's some concern about some of the Republicans. They're worried that it's going to cost them so much money to defend it in court. But why? Because of Democrats, because of billionaires, whoever putting the money in to fight it. And it's just amazing. They're actually fighting to keep these people alive. And, they're making all these little noodly, wormy reasons, like the ACLU claims, they need sex education to stop child rapists. Here's people who are afraid of this law, or it sort of permeating culture and giving that idea to other places. Is the sex offender support group. They're afraid of that law. The LGBTQ group is afraid of that law because I guess in their manifesto, the gay manifesto of 1987 says they're going to go after the boys. So the manifesto that is submitted to Congress, so it's a public document submitted to Congress showing that came out of publications from San Francisco in 1987. The gay manifesto of 1987, you look it up, it's submitted to Congress as an actual proof of the agenda of the gay movement. And they printed it joyfully, willingly, until we shined a light on it, and then they tried to hide it or pretend it was a sarcasm piece, whatever, they pretend it was, that was just a joke. So the LGBTQ and the pedophile support group don't want this to pass or happen. They don't want the death penalty. Do we Christians believe in killing? No, we don't. But you have to stop horror. And if horror doesn't stop doing horror, you have to stop it. Now, killing someone legislatively with a trial, with setting up a legislation, that's the way we believe in it. And that's what we believe in. Oops, let me go to here. See, we as Christians don't go out and murder abortionists, right? We don't go to the abortion places and bomb them. We don't do that. Why? Because we're not terrorists. If people do go out and do that to abortion mills, it's the wrong thing to do. It's not Christian. What we have to do is fight it legislatively. That's what we believe in. We believe in doing a legislative. We don't believe in a revolution. We believe in changing the hearts and minds. So to you on the left, you pagans, you Democrats, good job. Good job. You have done it to murder children, to sacrifice babies across the land. And I even had a guy post on here that it was laughable that I said that all pagans end up child sacrificing. It was laughable. So I asked him, is abortion murder, the murder of a child? And I'll see how he responds. So he's saying it's laughable that child sacrifice, that all pagans want a child sacrifice. And I'm saying, well, is abortion murder? Because I have a sneaking suspicion you believe abortion is totally a good thing. Just a sneaking suspicion. It's something I read in a book called the Bible. Anyway, so what was I talking about? So good job, left. You did it. And we on the right, and Christians, we conservatives, we have to admit that you through politics and through judges and through legislative loopholes and meanderings, you got the land to be a land of child sacrifice. The land is the land of child sacrifice, and you did it. You did it the right way. You got us all to believe in that it was okay. You got many Christians to change their heart and believe it, including some of my own family members. So you good, so good on you. You did it exactly the way you should. And we Christians are fighting back the same exact way. We're trying to change the hearts and minds of the people We're trying to do it through legislation, creating laws that will stop it. Protesting. We have that annual gathering every year in DC that no one talks about. That's the biggest ever, and it's been going on every year against abortion. So we appreciate that I appreciate that you did it the right way. You got it all the way to the Supreme Court. You got it. You picked the judges who would change that laws. I think they were liars, but you still did it through legislation. You lied to people, in my opinion, about it. But hey, and you lied to them in science. You said it was just a fetus, which is in Latin, fetus means small child, but you keep calling it fetus, and I'm like that's an okay thing to get rid of. I'm like, wow. Before the Lord, you're going to go to him and say, "It's a small child." No, it's just a small child. Why does I keep saying that? We were just getting rid of a small child. That's what you're going to be saying in front of God when you go before him. All I was doing was, it was just a small child. He's just going to keep making you say it in Latin till you realize. I think that's the way it's going to go. I don't know. God is vengeance, not me. So you did it the right way. You did it through legislation. So what we Christians are doing now is trying to do it through legislation too. Now, it's pretty neat of you to make it illegal for us to have freedom of speech in front of abortion mills. That's pretty neato. Pretty nifty. That's pretty crazy. You did that. And so I do think that may be an area where we are starting to fight you back in a bad way, because when you create the laws that make us unequal to you, like make us a slave to your freedom, but our freedom we don't get, that may cause some problems amongst Christians. As long as we have an equal legislative, when you make a law, it affects everyone, not just one person. But now that we're trying to protest in front of abortion mills, and you're arresting us because we can't go there to be freedom of speech or protest, yet all the left can go anywhere they want and protest and do whatever they want. That may become an issue. We'll see. We'll see how if the Christians stand up to that. But again, I'm going to have to give it to you for your political legislative wrangling to get child sacrifice, the law of the land, and the gay marriage and all that. The sort of corrupt, making marriage not sacred anymore. It's sacrilegious now. And that too is, hey, you're changing the hearts and minds of people, and that's what you should be doing. And then they all they create legislation and changes the laws, and that's the way we need to be fighting each other in that sense. So I kudos to you for making the land this way for how it's all going. All right, one last little bit of info here that's pretty interesting. Kind of cracks. So the Democrats are making a federal law that churches cannot have armed security. So my church is crazily armed. It's Pastor John MacArthur. It's a big church. There's dudes everywhere. All these like retired cops and stuff. But and they all got headsets and blah blah blah. But they want to make it illegal for churches to be armed. And what's weird is they always, remember how the Democrats used to say that the Second Amendment, it's about a militia. It's not about individuals. It's about a militia. Well, this is a militia, because a militia is like an organized group armed, right? And so they're saying, well, we don't want you to have militias either. Basically what they're saying with this. So they're trying to create a law that you cannot defend yourself or organize a defense of yourself or your business or your church, anything. Wow. That's just amazing, huh? How, man, I mean, I shouldn't be amazed. They want tyranny. Democrats want tyranny. The gun control is the perfect term, because it says exactly what they want. They want to control the guns. If they can control the guns, because they believe in gun control, you have nothing. You will be defenseless. Absolutely. And the Second Amendment is about limiting the government. It's not about sports or deer, or it's not even about self-defense, right? Because the First Amendment, is that about self-defense? Is that about yelling at a criminal? Hey, you can't steal from me. I have the right to tell you that. No, it's about yelling at the government, right? That's what the First Amendment is about. It's about you have the right to criticize the government. I have the right to criticize the government on any level in any public forum, including YouTube. I have that right. I have a right as an American citizen to say this is wrong. The election is wrong. The COVID, the lockdowns are wrong. I have every right to do that. And no company can shut me down because I'm criticizing the government. And no company can shut me down because the government told them to shut me down. That is absolutely illegal and unconstitutional. And it's creepy to me that YouTube and Facebook and all that have gotten away with it. And there's been no one has been arrested for that. Someone should have been arrested. Many people should have been arrested for silencing us on the COVID lockdowns, on, we believe the election was interfered with. We have every right to criticize the election. Like, we could be wrong. Okay. We could be wrong, but we still have the right to do it. I absolutely don't believe we're wrong. And I here in California don't believe I really have a vote. I still vote, but I don't really believe it's working the way there's ballots. I have like 2 or 3 ballots being mailed to me. Well, I have 3, but I feel like I have rebeats. I don't know. I get so much ballot stuff now. I don't even know what's legit or not, and I don't know what I've kept or thrown away. Because I get so much stuff and like we don't even want it, in essence. I mean, I voted all the time, but I never. Back in the day, when I was a Democrat, I voted D the whole time. I didn't even know what I was doing. I was a art major at UCLA, hoity-toity, and voting, and I just voted D. And I heard a comedian recently when I was doing comedic stuff. I heard him say, "Yeah, man, I just vote D, man." This is like right around the lockdown, right at the end of the Trump thing. Anyway, so. I think that's it. We have a right of freedom of speech. Okay. We do. We need to be able to argue with each other, for crying out loud. Anyway, am I recording still? Okay. Anyway, that's it for my little video this morning. It's kind of, I really want to just get back to a game. I got to make another video about D&D. How, when I got into D&D and Star Wars, I loved it. I so had, wonderful, just literally like a couple of years ago. I'm going to make a video on it and how wonderful it was. But then how I saw how dark it got. Anyway, I'll do that next. Okay. In the game of life, roll holy dice.